Shalom, Hebrews. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. Okay, Hebrews. We got enemies. Our enemies, been our enemies since the Creator made a covenant with Abraham's descendants. But really, it go back to Seth. Seth, Prophet Abraham's son that he had after Abel was killed. And I want to show you, Hebrews, something that is kind of like two ethnic stocks. It's two ethnic stocks that come about during that time. And one of them ethnic stocks was classified as being a descendant of some snakes, or people that will have snake characteristics, snake emblems and stuff. And we see throughout ancient history that the people that had snake emblems and so forth was kind of like enemies to the Israelites, and especially the Egyptians had snake gods. But I want to show how this was said to our mother Eve, and Adam, and the Creator said this, what I'm saying, about some reptile folks. And sure enough, if you look in history, that it's some reptile folks that we've been dealing with the whole time. And these reptile people don't want us to come into our heritage, or don't want us to have a covenant with Almighty Yah. Because if we have a covenant with Almighty Yah, then they whole system and how they function will expire, will be destroyed. And we like the vehicle that the Creator used to destroy nations. And we dealing with some real crafty enemies that would go through any length to keep the Israelites fooled, blind, and misled men about their purpose and what they were supposed to do for the Creator. Because it's like our problems go back to the Garden of Eden, and especially when this was said. We know that Cain had killed his brother Abel after this event. But this was said when that being, it was a being that influenced our mother. The Creator told Eve and Adam not to eat a certain plant in the garden, because it will alter their personalities and that they will see things different. And it is known that Eve was probably first to consume an intoxicating plant, whether it was a poppy plant or some kind of plant, but it was a plant that would alter one's perception. And it's like, men, it go like this. When the Creator told, Eve and Adam don't, to mess with that plant that was in the garden, and then how this serpent-like individual, and you show enough a serpent, man, if you cross the Creator out, and back in them days, that this person was classified as a serpent. But we know serpents don't have no heels, and serpents can't talk and have vocal cords, but that this was a description of a culture of people that will worship the snakes. And this was the fallen angelic being, because as I show, when the Creator went to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, how it was two angels with the Creator. I'm gonna read some of that, so that let you know that they was humans and had arms and legs and mouths and so forth. So it's a possibility that one of those fallen beings, and fell out of disgrace with the Creator, as you can see rebellion right here, and that these individuals would later on mix with Cain's seed, Cain, and how Cain's seed is going to be the people in the Tanakh history that don't have a genealogy with Noah's sons, you know, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and how like Sir, the Horites, and the Hittites, and all those individuals, as well as some few other names of some tribes and peoples that wasn't descended from Prophet Noah that exist in Tanakh history. Those are going to be the beings in Cain seed mixture that will produce the giants, as can be seen that the giants existed after the flood. But I'm gonna show you that there was two groups, and look, 9 out of 10, these two groups, these two groups, these two groups are gonna be different, because the Creator, 9 out of 10, gonna put Tazeret on the first group, the killer group, the ones that fell out of grace, and that would be Cain and the fallen angelic being seed merging, which would produce that snake culture. But this was said, you know, and now the serpent was more suitable than any beast of the field which the Elohim Yah had made. And he said unto the woman, yeah, had Yah said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the tree of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yah had said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And probably a medical healing plant, you know, that could help in some kind of way, but how that if you ate it, it'll alter your personality and perception, as did, you know, happen with Eve and Adam. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die, for Yah doeth know that in the day ye shall eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant for the eyes. Women always like shine and stuff. And a tree to be desired to make one wise. See, all alternate personality. And she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband, and he did eat. And the eyes of them both were open. They was under the influence that they had. It was an intoxicating plant that altered their personality as drugs do. Drugs will alter your personality, and that's what happened meant to them. And that old snake tricked them, and the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made for themselves apron. And they heard the voice of the Elohim there, Yah, walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Elohim Yah amongst the trees in the garden. See, they was high and they was tripping. And they was tripping. But as it all boils down to, this is what the Creator said to Eve that got tricked first, because, you know, she said that the serpent beguiled her. And that's one of the reasons why our enemies, these snakes, like having the Hebrew women around them and go directly to get the Hebrew woman, because they know that if they could trick the Hebrew woman, they could basically trick the man, because the woman have to raise the man. You see what I'm saying? All right. And the Elohim said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. And the Elohim said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this. You see, the Creator Yah, you see, we done gave these folks some good names, these ethnic groups some good names. But back in the days, the Creator called them snakes, beasts, and all kind of stuff. And man, how they got good names since we Israelites been out of the control of controlling world history, as Tanakh is world history, and how we had control of it till we broke covenant. And that's one of the reasons why our enemies don't want us to come back into a covenant, because, you know, truth to be present on earth again, and all the wickedness that they did will cease. The wickedness that control the earth meant today. But this is what the Creator said to the serpent. And the Elohim said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field, and upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Now, what snake got a heel? What snake got a heel? And I showed that our enemies has bruised our head, and we don't know the knowledge of who we are or what happened in the past, because what happened to us in the transatlantic slave trade, and how if you look at the state of the Hebrews in captivity, they mind all messed up. The ones that's called Negroes, blacks, African Americans, they all messed up, man. They so messed up, man, that it's gonna be a miracle when the Creator bring us back, and then bring the people's mind back. Because if you look at the state of the mind of the people now, oh man, it's messed up. And then that's another thing, Hebrews. You got a whole lot of individuals that's calling themselves kings and leaders of the Israelite community. And I'm here to tell you that these folks are not kings, and they are not leaders, even though some of them leading a great following up under mis history, or history that is incorrect. You know, Hebrews that's in a messed up state of mind gonna follow history that's incorrect, and they following these leaders, the Hebrew leaders, with the demigod worship and so forth. But how that a leader gonna have some truth and gonna be able to lead the way and show the right direction. And you know, that's what the Israelite brotherhood is about. You know what I'm saying? We the leaders to the Israelite community, and how them other Hebrews, you know, just making some noise and stuff, and that they ain't showing what happened to us and what we up against and who our enemies are. All right, Hebrews, we see that the Creator told the snake that got heels, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and in between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. You know, so, you know, we gonna bruise the enemy's heel, is gonna make the whole system fall. And that's what we trying to wake up now to do. But here go the snake folks. You know, man, here go the snake folks. You know, that we Israelites, you know, was supposed to have destroyed. And man, check this out. It's awful. You know, that's a Egyptian snake god right there. You know, so that's classified as a snake. And we know that we had problems with the Egyptians. And its culture. And the Egyptian culture is gonna be on par with the Babylonian culture. You know, it's gonna be on par with the Babylonian culture. The Egyptian culture is. And how we Hebrews, you know, with these snake folks that worship snakes and got snake as they gods and goddesses and so forth, and how that those were the people that, you know, brung about our end and so forth. And you know what I'm saying? That's like this one right here. Oh man, it's awful. Murdoch. Me and your boy Murdoch. The Murdoch is a snake and a dragon. Look, that's the Babylonian god, snake dragon, symbol of Murdoch, the Patharan god of Babylon. And we know that the people from Super, the Babylonian scribes that got our heritage, that settled in Samaria in 722 BC, was head of this system that was in Babylon, and how the Murdoch would be their god, the snake dragon god, and how that's their god, and how that they created this system that we Israelites are in prison to today. This system that's called Western culture. And that how if we Israelites would have followed the law and did what the Creator said in destroying them folks when we exodus Egypt, that how this system wouldn't be around today. You see, this system wouldn't be around today. And look, you can see that them peoples, the dragon peoples, existed through Cain. I mean, the dragon people existed through Cain, and how the Cain seed could be seen to have mixed it up with the fallen angelic beings who gonna have that city of Nod. You know, that's like all the ancient places around the earth where they got them mega monuments where it look impossible for a human to have, build them monuments and so forth, and how that those gonna be the fallen angelic beings, the Nephilims, and the Creator wiped them out. But some of them survived. The ones that had mixed it with the humans survived. The ones that had mixed it with Cain's seed survived. But that original fallen angel stock, the Creator got rid of. But how did those fallen angelic beings, who was called serpents, snakes, went over into Cain's seed, and how Cain's seed went from Turkey to the to Babylon, and the Canaanite descendants would mix with the Cain seed. But this is Cain's story right here, and you're gonna see that after Cain and in his descendants were separate from Seth, who came later after Abel was killed, and that how that Seth line worshiped the Creator, and how Cain line was unbelievers and didn't believe in the Creator, as the people that worship these gods from Egypt and Mesopotamia, that they got snake gods, are the same people that how that they don't worship the Creator, and this will be they founding stock right here, not worshiping the Creator. All right, and Adam knew his wife, and she conceived. This is Genesis 4. And Adam knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain. And Cain said, I have gotten a man from the Elohim. And, and, and she again bore his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. So if Cain a tiller of the ground, Cain gonna know how to do metalworks and metallurgy and smelting iron and so forth. He gonna have to be digging with some iron, because copper and stuff like that and brass wasn't, no good farming tools. And how that if he captivating a land, he gonna need some iron. And then that's what, he had asked and showed that the iron go back to the peoples up in the Caucasus Mountain and around them parts in Europe, or in Turkey, and the Caucasus Mountain and around them parts, start smelting iron and so forth, and then brung it down. And them gonna be Cain descendants. How I showed it how Cain would flee to Turkey underground, them underground cities that I got a few videos explaining how that Cain would go underground in Turkey, and how the Hittites, to be his descendants. Now they'll try to say that the Hittites come from Canaan descendants, Heth, but we don't have that as marked down as that. All right. And Adam knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, and he said, I have gotten a man from the Elohim. And she again bore his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, and Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in the process of time, it come to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Elohim. Now, he done picked up some fruit off the ground that then probably dropped, ripped, could be rotten, or anything. And he done picked that up to go take that to the Creator as a present. Now that's some sorry mess right there. But Cain and his offerings, all right. And Abel also brought of the firstling of his flock and of the fat thereof. And then he had to care for that. He would be sad if he killed his animals. And it was something that had blood and life in it. And the Creator was the creator of that. All right, let me start at 3. And in the process of time, it come to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Elohim. And Abel also brought of the firstling of his flock and the fat thereof. And the Elohim had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But because it's live animals, you got to care for them. Whereas Cain's stuff just grew on a tree and dropped off, and he just go pick it up, and take it to the Creator. Whereas Abel had to tend to his and care for it and love it and nourish it and so forth. All right, and the Elohim said unto Cain, why art thou wrath, and why is thy conscience felon? See, he felon. That's a bad thing right there. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And they can show enough rule over us with sin, because with sin come all the trinkets and the shiny things, and you can be ruled over if liking that type stuff. And that's what our desire has been, and our enemy has been ruling over us. And they shown us descended from Cain. Look, and Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it come to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. And the Elohim said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? You see, that's the first lie right there. That's the first lie being told. Whereas them other individuals, Adam and Eve, and that ate that plant, they confessed and told the truth. And whereas this individual telling a lie. So it's like the first lie right here. And the Elohim said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which had opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. See, he cursed, the first cursed one, the killer, the liar, the murderer. Now we see this in the people today. We know who them peoples is. We've been dealing with them for 400 years, and they got us in bondage. All right, so 9 out of 10, when the Creator cursed him, and he gonna put some Tazaret on him. That's gonna take his pigmentation. So Cain 9 out of 10 gonna be the first Caucasian, the first white man, and that the Creator gonna take his pigmentation from him. That's some serious stuff. Killing, that first murder, the first killing he did. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth. And sure enough, we know that when these peoples, our enemies, pull up and take over land and start forming it, how that the soil just start losing its nutrients real fast, and they have to use fertilizer and all kind of substance, whereas the people in Africa and so forth been using the same soil for thousands of years, and they ain't never had to resort to all this fertilization stuff that our enemies have to do in the West and in Europe and so forth. So these peoples here gonna be descendant from Cain, the ones that can't keep their soil straight and got a history from day one of not, having food yield to them from the soil. And that's gonna be them folks, from up here, and how that they was bloody and murderous, and how that they didn't have no crops to farm and stuff, and how that they killed and hunt animals and lived in animal skins and so forth, and would roam around, robbing and killing and stealing, as I explain all that in videos. All right. And Cain said unto the Elohim, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth. Meaning, he gonna go down into the ground. If he driven out from the face of the earth, he gonna go into the caves and underground. And as you see throughout Tanakh history, when Prophet Abraham and so forth come into the scene, and it start explaining his history and keeping up with his descendants, you will see that our enemies lived in mountains and in caves and so forth. And that's where they were. And it's going to be, what Cain descendants will start out in the caves and underground and so forth. All right. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. But because his pigmentation gone, he done been in the earth, hiding and stuff, him and his descendants, and how the people wouldn't recognize them, the other pigmented peoples, when they come out and start coming about, and how somebody would probably kill them, but how that they vengeance would come back 7 and 10-fold as it is today, and how that we had war with them folks, and how that them folks come back tenfold on us. All right, and the Elohim said unto him, therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him, and sevenfold. And the Elohim set a mark on Cain, lest any find in him should kill him. That's going to be that Tazaret, what they call leprosy. Now listen, Hebrews, as you know, Abel dead. Abel dead. Ain't the only son that's on this earth is Cain and those fallen angelic beings. And then how that Seth come later, and how it was peoples before then. You know what I'm saying? And that how that the Tanakh keep up with Seth descendants. You see what I'm saying? And that how these other people's gonna be the snakes and the dragons. You know, all the other cultures that's, you know, not, you know, hooked up with us. All right. And the Elohim said unto him, therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be on him sevenfold. And the Elohim set a mark on him, lest any find in him should kill him. And Cain went out from the presence of the Elohim and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. And he built a city and called the name of the city after the name of Enoch. You see, but as you go on, you know, Cain descendants, they starting to multiply, and how that, you know, that they was wicked and evil. And look, and Adam knew his wife again, and she bore a son and called his name Seth. For Yah said, she had appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew, and to Seth, to whom also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Then began men to call upon the name of the Elohim. You see, but them other ones, Cain descendants, ain't gonna call on the Elohim, because they gonna be done got on down. He gonna be a murderer, and he gonna be a liar. But they were called the snakes, you know, the snake people, and how that snake culture, you know, went all the way over into the Egyptian culture, as well as from Mesopotamia, as I'm showing. And now look, check this out, Hebrews. This is they sin, they wickedness, and then this would be the enemies of the covenant. Our enemies want to stop us Israelites from coming into our covenant with Creator Yah. You know, and our enemies don't want us to have no covenant, you know what I'm saying, with Almighty Yah, because then that mean that they evil and wickedness gonna perish. That mean that our enemies' evil wickedness gonna perish if we come into a covenant with Almighty Yah. And what'll stop us from coming into a covenant with Almighty Yah is if we following the Canaanite Egyptian culture, as the Creator outlined they sins, and they sins is identical to what's going on today. And these are the snake folks. You know, as I show that the Egyptians that we interacted with had snake gods, and they was evil and wicked. And then the people who we Israelites abandoned our heritage to, the Babylonian scribes, God is Murdoch, a snake and a dragon. All right, these are the sins right here that the Canaanites did, that we do now today, that the Creator wanted us Israelites to destroy. See, if we would have destroyed that wickedness in the past, then it wouldn't be no wickedness here today, and how earth will be a paradise. All right, this is Leviticus 18. And the Elohim said unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am the Elohim your Yah. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwell, shall ye not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whether I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall ye walk in their ordinance. So evidently, the Egyptian and the Canaanite ordinance was basically the same. You know, even though the Canaanites gonna be a Tazarite people, they ain't gonna have no pigmentation and so forth. They ain't gonna have no pigmentation, the majority of them. And then how their system was the same as Egypt, because it wouldn't have made no sense for the Creator to say, don't do the Egyptian culture and don't do the Canaanite culture, and not to walk in their ordinance, meaning that their ordinance is going to be the same. All right. Ye shall do my judgments and keep my ordinance to walk therein. I am the Elohim your Yah. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Elohim. None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him, to uncover their nakedness. I am the Elohim. And we know that the Egyptians was, man, they sleeping with their mama, the dad, the father sleeping with the daughters, the cousins sleeping with each other, everybody sleeping with each other to try to maintain the royalty bloodline. But how that was a wickedness and so forth. All right, the nakedness of thy father or the nakedness of thy mother thou shalt not uncover. She is thy mother. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. And that's what the Egyptians did, man. They sleeping with their mamas. You know, the mama might mate with her son to have a child, and he be Pharaoh. You know, the Egyptians was caught up in that real bad. Evidently, the Canaanites were too. And then there's some of the wickedness that's going on now today. Look, the wickedness of the fathers. The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. The nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father, or the daughter of thy mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad, even their nakedness shalt thou not uncover. See, you can't even be sleeping with your sisters on your mama's side or your daddy's side. And how did the Creator looked at that as wickedness and abomination. But how did these folks do it today? Right now today, the nakedness of thy son's daughter, or thy daughter's daughter, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover, for theirs is then own nakedness. You know, some of the folks be going into their children's children, and man, this whole society that we live in today is ultimately wicked. And it's like the wicked rappers. They use the wicked rappers knowing that we Israelites is a vehicle for the Creator to bring other nations into the Creator, and how that they using our enemies using the Israelites that don't know their heritage to rap and sing wicked music to keep prolonging our oppression. And how that, you know, if them individuals use that same music, not the wicked music, but the rapping technique, and how that rapping is all over the earth and universal now, and how we could bring them all to the Creator. But how enemies don't want that. They don't want us to have no covenant, because if we had the covenant, then all this wickedness that I'm reading about that persists today will cease. And then our enemies won't have no power, because their power come from wickedness. Look, the nakedness of thy son's daughter, or of thy daughter's daughter, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover. For theirs is thine own nakedness, the nakedness of thy father's wife, daughter, begotten of thy father. She is thy sister. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister. She is thy father's near kinswoman. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, for she is thy mother's near kinswoman. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother. Thou shalt not approach to his wife. She is then aunt. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of the daughter-in-law. She is thy son's wife. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness her nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. It is thy brother's nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter, neither shalt thou take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter to uncover her nakedness, for they are her near kinswoman. It is a wickedness. Neither shalt thou take a wife to her sister to vex her, to uncover her nakedness besides the one in her lifetime. Also, thou shalt not approach unto a woman to uncover her nakedness, as long as she is put apart for her uncleanness. And some Hebrews, like to get down like that, mess with the sisters when they on they, periods, they natural cycle and stuff, and how some Hebrews, it's just pure wicked. All right. And thou shalt, moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife to defile thyself with her, and thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to My Leech. You know what I'm saying? And abortions. That's what, our enemies, ain't no telling how many Israelites they done killed since we've been in bondage. Millions. Millions. And passing your seed to My Leech is the abortion thing in whatever form that they put it in. And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to My Leech, neither shalt thou profane the name of the elohim. I am thy Yah, I am the elohim. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination. And it's a known fact that our enemies is pushing that hard in our community. I'm talking about real hard, and how you got the youth growing up saying that they bisexuals and that they go both ways and stuff, and how that's common among the youth now. Please, Almighty Yah, bring the system down. Please help us, Almighty Yah. We need your help. And how Hebrews, how that I got a video showing that how we fall up under the control of the Amorites, how they gonna push that gay agenda, and how they been doing it since the BC days, and how this ain't even new what they doing. All right. And see, thou shalt not lie with mankind as with the womankind. It is an abomination. Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. It is confused. Defile not ye yourselves in any of these things, for in all these nations are defiled, which I cast out before you. Look, you see it say all these nations. So it's a whole bunch of nations. The Egyptians, the Hittites, the Amorites, and I can show, and I have proven that the Amorite culture that was in the past is the same culture that we have today, because the people who created the Amorite culture is in control of Israelite culture, and they are the founders of the American administrative structure in this governance and in the Western culture and so forth. All right. All right. And let me see. Defile not yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations were defiled, which I cast out before you. And the land is defiled, therefore I do visit the iniquity thereof upon it, and the land itself vomit out its inhabitants, her inhabitants. And that's what happened to us in our last days on the promised land in the book of Jeremiah for the 99%. How we was so wicked that we was on the same level as Sodom and Gomorrah. How the Creator couldn't find nobody righteous, and how we had to be driven out the land. We had to be driven out the land. The same as, that the Creator gonna do to these folks. How this land gonna have to be destroyed. Look, ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger that sojourneth among you. For all these abominations have the men of the land done, which were before you, and the land is defiled. That's like the whole Western culture is defiled. And us Hebrews have to wake up to make the change. And that's one of the reasons why our enemies don't want us to have a covenant with our Almighty Yah. They don't want us to have a covenant with Almighty Yah. Because if we have a covenant with Almighty Yah, then that means that they evil cease and they rule stop. And our enemies don't want that. Our enemies don't want that. Alright. For all the abominations have the men of the land done, which were before you, and the land is defiled, that the land spewed not you out also when ye defiled it. And we was told that coming out of Egypt. And I showed that we Israelites only stayed in the promised land about 800 years before we was kicking out, and we became victim to the same culture that we were supposed to destroy, and how those people that we were supposed to destroy got us in prison now in their culture. And man, it's like starting to cycle all over again. Look, for whosoever shall commit any of these abominations, even the souls that commit them shall be cut off from among their people. Therefore shall ye keep my ordinance, that ye commit not any one of these abominable customs which were committed before you, and that ye defile not yourselves, wherein I am the Elohim. And let me see. And Elohim spake unto Moses. All right. All right, you see. Here it is again. All right. 16. The repetition. And the Elohim spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, Ye shall be holy, for I am the Elohim your Yah, am holy. Ye shall fear every man his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbaths. I am the Elohim your Yah. And that's what we don't have today, and how the culture today teach you to disrespect your mama and your fathers. If you look at all them TV shows, men on TV, how that the kids is disrespecting the adults and their fathers, and how they using that as a form of entertainment. That's the Amorite culture being passed around the world and so forth. And how did they do it through the TV? And how did they dishonor the mother and father on TV? And how everybody watched that and become influenced by that. That's the power of them Babylonian scribes that got us Israelites' heritage, and they got us in bondage. And so ye shall fear every man his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbaths. I am the Elohim your Yah. Turn ye not unto idols, nor make to yourself molten gods. I am the Elohim your Yah, and if ye offer a sacrifice of peace offering unto the Elohim, ye shall offer it at your own will, and it shall be eaten the same. Eat all right, and thou shalt not. You know what I'm saying? Man, we had a lot of ordinance on how we Israelites are not supposed to rob and kill each other, and how that's part of the Amorite culture, and how they promote that. That's like in the rap industry. All them rappers sing about killing and hurting their own people, and then how that's promoted as good music, soulful music, and cultural music, and how that them people that's promoting that evil wickedness is working for the snakes, and they don't even know it. All right. All right, see. Ye shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another, and ye shall not swear by my name falsely, neither shalt thou profane the name of the Yah. I am the Elohim. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. Of the wages of him that is hired shall abide with thee all night until the morning. Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block, before the blind, but thou shalt fear the Elohim. I am the Elohim. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Elohim. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, nor suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Elohim. Ye shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let any, man, it go on and on and on, telling us how to be righteous with each other. But the sins of the Canaanites is what we were supposed to destroy, and those are the sins that we are doing now, because we are up under the Canaanite culture. And the Elohim, this is Leviticus 20. And the Elohim spake unto Moses, saying, Again thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever be of the children of Israel, or the strangers that sojourn, that giveth any of his seed unto My Leech, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. That's that abortion. If Almighty Yah found out you was doing an abortion back then, that was a death sentence for you. And I will set my face against the man, and will cut him off from among his people, because he had given of his seed unto Modi to defile my sanctuary, to profane my holy name. And if the people of the land do anywhere hide their eyes from the man who had given his seed unto the Molich, and kill him not, then I will set my face against that man and against that family, and will cut him off, and all that go a horn after him to commit whoredom with Molich from among their people. Them prostitutes having, wasn't supposed to be no prostitutes in Israel, no whores and so forth. But how that when them folks went out, people got in contact with them Canaanites, and how they started sinning, and the economic structure that was set up, the capitalism, the buying and selling contracts, to how it forced some of the women into prostitution. And man, they would sell their illegitimate babies and so forth, and to My Leech, and they would burn them up. All right. And the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits, and after wizards, to go a horn after them, I will even set my face against that soul, and will cut him off from among his people. So all kind of stuff, man, that the Canaanite culture was so wicked. And the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, even he had committed adultery against his neighbor's wife, and an adulterer. And the adulterer shall, man, you could get put to death for a whole lot of stuff, because we was coming into the Canaanite land, and it had to be something distinguished between us and them, and how we couldn't have came into the Canaanite culture to do their wickedness and then call it a covenant. So anybody that had got caught doing the Canaanite culture, back then, the Creator could put your lights out. Put your lights out, and man, that's the way that it was, because he had to make a distinction. But how did these snake folks today got us Israelites in captivity, and they don't want us